My name is Chana Johnson, and I work in the Safety and Mission Assurance Office at the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center. I was born in Tuskegee, Alabama. I have two brothers. I have loving parents. My mother and father were both educators. I lived in Tuskegee all of my life until I got my first job. I have dreamed for years about what I would be and what I would do, but in my home it was a given that we would have a career, that we would look forward to doing something. We were going to go to school beyond high school, and so when I completed high school, I matriculated at Tuskegee University, formerly known as Tuskegee Institute. I'm most proud of being a part of an activity, of a mission that has a greater good beyond what you actually see at first. Being a part of Marshall Space Flight Center at NASA, it gives us the opportunity to, yes, fly and go into outer space, but because of what we've done in going outer space, we've developed things that come back and become part of everyday life. The biggest influence in my life has always been my mother. My mother taught us to care for one another. My mother and my father both were engaged in my life, all of my life. My mother inspired me to look beyond what I do every day, to do bigger and better things. She always told us that you can do anything and everything, but you're no better than anyone else, and always keep that in mind. And she expected the best from us. And that says a lot in this day and time when you look around. You know, everybody doesn't have someone who's expecting the best and encouraging the best and instilling the best. And so she made those investments in me and my brothers, and I'm thankful to her for that. For me, during my career, the biggest barrier that I probably have ever had to overcome is making sure that I represented well what I was assigned to do. The challenge sometimes would come in that when I was in school, when I first graduated in the 80s, there weren't very many female engineers. And those female engineers had to posture themselves or make sure that they were as good as the boys, as good as the fellas. And to do that, sometimes you had to do over and beyond. You had to study a little bit more. You had to maybe stay a little longer. And sometimes you even had to kind of exercise a little more muscle to get what you needed done, because sometimes when you would ask a question, you wouldn't get the same response as it would be if someone else had asked that very same question. So I learned to try to take advantage of the opportunities when people were willing to help. I never was too proud to ask for help, because I believe that if we don't realize when we need help, we can put ourselves in a position where we might not be as successful as we could have been. As a mechanical engineer, I would want to pass on to the next generation of young ladies and girls that you have the possibilities inside of you to be any and everything that you possibly can be, and that science is not too hard, math is not too hard, that we need those who are capable and talented, and the talent lies within you. You just have to tap into that resource. And oftentimes a challenge is just what you need to find out that you really can. Oftentimes young girls and young ladies turn away when it gets hard. But when it gets hard, that's when you kick in that gear and you find out and reach deep inside of yourself and find out what you're really made of. And when you can find out what you're made of, then you realize that the potential has been there all the time. You just never tapped into it. So they have to tap into that resource that lies within.